Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Sebastián Patiño and it is our podcast. My group is composed by Karin Rodriguez, Ángela Calderón, Juan Esteban Salgado, and Mateo Nieto. We are going to talk you about the Frankenstein's book, but we want to check what happened if, for example, Frankenstein were alive at this time. Could you imagine that Frankenstein shares a video in Instagram or shares a photo in Facebook? Angela is going to start. So, Angela, what is your opinion? Go ahead.
That's right, Sebas, thank you. Victor Frankenstein is a brilliant scientist obsessed with discovering the secret of life. Experimenting in secret, he succeeds in creating an artificial human being, which he calls the creature. However, when he sees the monstrous appearance of his creation, Frankenstein is horrified and runs away from it. The creature, abandoned and rejected by his creator and society, is bitter and lonely. Throughout the story, the creator seeks revenge against Frankenstein for abandoning him and suffering the rejection of others. The creature murders people close to Frankenstein and demands that he create a companion for him.
Thank you, Angela, for briefly telling us the first part of this book. In the later part of Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein's creature continues to chase him and cause destruction in its wake. Frankenstein embarks on a dangerous quest to hunt and destroy the creature, promising himself to free the world from his evil creation. The chase takes them to the Arctic, where they have their final showdown. However, Frankenstein is overcome by fatigue and weakness. The creature mourns the death of its creator. After Victor's death, Captain Robert Walton, who has been listening to the history, reflects on the consequences of Frankenstein's actions. Walton decides to abandon his own obsessive quest and return home, appreciating the importance of human relationships. The ending of Frankenstein leaves us with a sense of tragedy and desolation, highlighting the moral and ethical implication of Frankenstein's actions and the creature's loneliness and rejection.
Well, and if we think about it, this tragic end of Frankenstein is not very different from the reality of now. If we associate it with social networks, the same things happen. People are adapting to an imaginary beauty stereotype. I will give you an example with Instagram. It is a fact that people who are psychically more attractive will have a greater impact on their profiles, either with many followers, likes, or positive comments. All these stereotypes affect young people as they begin to wonder why they were not born with this beauty. They think that their life would have been better, and this is when they begin to feel inadequate, suffer from depression, and in the worst case, they commit suicide, as our character Frankenstein did.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree with you, Juan. In this society in which we currently live, it is too superficial. We not only put the appearance of a person above, but at the same time we stop seeing the important aspects of someone because of the way how he dresses, his look, his way of speaking, and this in any way impacts young people, even adults, because not only a young person can feel bad for a bad comment. What happened with Frankenstein is a reality that many people live today. Fortunately, not my case. Just kidding. But it is something delicate from which, as a society, we can improve. Preferably that our actions speak for us and not our psyche.
It's true, guys. I think beauty has a great influence on everyday life and an impact not only psychological but also social. According to many studies, we perceive beauty as a pleasant stimulus, so many people are more permissive, kind, or even more likely to help or do favors to people with a good physique. And so it happened in the book. Nobody want to be a friend nor accept a help from the monster because his appearance was ugly.
Exactly, Karin. In the book, we can see how Frankenstein at first had no bad intentions. Remember when he saw that a girl was drowning, and when he saw this, he decided to go to help her. And at the time of rescue, the child's father is frightened to see Frankenstein by his appearance and shoots him. This one of several acts that began to change the way of acting in Frankenstein.
That's right, guys. Another important point could be the virtual monstrosity. In the novel, the creature is rejected for its physical appearance and feels marginalized. In social networks, the phenomenon of cyberbullying can lead people to feel excluded, isolated, or attacked by other users. These feelings of virtual monstrosity could be a connection between Frankenstein's creature and negative experience on social networks.
Adding something else to what you say, Angela, but the creature of Frankenstein and some social media users can experience feelings of loneliness and isolation. Although virtually connected, interactions may lack authenticity and depth. In addition, constant comparison with others and the need for validation can increase the sense of isolation and distancing in today's society.
I totally agree, girls. Basically, we are talking about unforeseen consequence. In Frankenstein, Victor does not anticipate the consequence of his actions and the repercussions they will have on both his life and that of the creator. Similarly, in social networks, the rapid and indiscriminate dissemination of information can have unexpected consequences such as spreading rumors, polarizing opinions, or damaging people's reputations.
In general, the relationship between Frankenstein and social network focuses on issues such as responsibility, uncontrolled creation, virtual monstrosity, and unforeseen consequence. These parallels can help us reflect on the responsible use of social media and the importance of cultivating genuine and authentic connection in an increasingly digitized world.
Complementing what you say, it seems to me that education also has a lot to do with it, right? How you raise your children, nephews, and others, the way they treat people will depend on that. So, in my opinion, we should be aware that we are all human and we must act with tolerance and love for people, for all people. Like Frankenstein, many people make absolutely wrong decisions, and this has to change starting with us.
Thank you, friend. And yes, I agree with you. But it's difficult lives at this time for someone as Frankenstein, and more if this person has social media. But also, in my personal opinion, this society is changing. So I think that Frankenstein could adapt at this world, but it needs help and time. But okay, that is my opinion. So with this, we pretend explain you what happened if Frankenstein were alive at this time. So that's it. Have a nice one. Bye bye.